Welcome to In Love with Horror. I'm AJ, and this is your destination for all things horror. 2024 is a stacked year for horror, so we decided to share with you every major horror movie coming in 2024. We also did a most anticipated horror movie list for 2024, so check for the link for that in the description, as there are movies on that list not mentioned here and vice versa. With that, let's get into the list of every major horror movie coming in 2024. Night Swim, releasing January 5th. It's written by Bryce McGuire and Rod Blackhurst, who worked on Blood for Dust. It's being directed by Bryce McGuire, who did Every House is Haunted and Pig. It's also produced by James Wan from Atomic Monster and Blumhouse. In Night Swim, a former Major League Baseball player forced into early retirement by a degenerative illness moves into a new home with his wife, teenage daughter, and young son. Ray persuades Eve that the new home's shimmering backyard swimming pool will be fun for the kids and provide physical therapy for him, but a dark secret in the home's past will unleash a malevolent force that will drag the family under into the depths of inescapable terror. Founders Day, releasing February 19th. Written and directed by the Blomquist brothers, Eric and Carson, who worked on She Came from the Woods, in this bold political slasher from the Blomquist brothers, a small town is shaken by a series of ominous killings in the days leading up to a heated mayor election. Imaginary, releasing March 8th. It's being directed by Jeff Wadlow, who worked on The Curse of Bridge Hollow, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Fantasy Island, and Truth or Dare. It's being written by a very interesting team that includes Brian McGuire, who we mentioned earlier as the director and writer for Night Swim, Greg Erb, who worked on Princess and the Frog, Ugly Dolls, and Monster High, and Jason Orlum, who also worked on Princess and the Frog and Monster High, and Playmobil the movie. In this movie, a woman returns to her childhood home to discover that the imaginary friend she left behind is very real and unhappy that she abandoned him. It's being produced by Blumhouse. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, releasing March 29th. It's being directed by Gil Keenan, who worked on Monster High and did the Poltergeist from 2015 and A Boy Called Christmas. It's written by Gil Keenan and Jason and Ivan Reitman. In this installment of the franchise, the Spengler family returns to where it all started, the iconic New York City firehouse, to team up with the original Ghostbusters, who developed a top-secret research lab to take busting ghosts to the next level. But when the discovery of an ancient artifact unleashes an evil force, Ghostbusters, new and old, must join forces to protect their home and save the world from a second ice age. The First Omen, releasing April 5th. Directed by Arkasha Stevenson, who worked on the 2017 Legion and directed the third season of Channel Zero, is being written by Tim Smith, who also worked on Channel Zero, and Keith Thomas, who worked on Firestarter, along with Stevenson. In this prequel to The Omen, a young American woman is sent to Rome to begin a life of service to the church, but encounters a darkness that causes her to question her faith and uncovers a terrifying conspiracy that hopes to bring about the birth of evil incarnate. Horrorscope, releasing May 10th. Written and directed by Spencer Cohen, who worked on Moonfall, Expendables 4, and Extinction, and Anna Halberg, who also worked on Extinction and Expendables 4 and Classified, based on a novel by Nicholas Adams. A group of college friends begin dying in ways connected to their fortunes after getting their horoscopes read. The Strangers Chapter 1, releasing May 17th. Directed by Rennie Harlan, who worked on Deep Blue Sea, Mindhunters, and 12 Rounds, and written by Alan R. Cohen, who worked on King of the Hill and Due Date, and Alan Friedland, who also worked on the same, and Amber Lutfi, and this is actually her first writing gig. Suddenly, during a road trip stop in a remote vacation rental in the woods, a couple becomes the prey of a mysterious gang of masked strangers who attack without warning or reason. What begins as a fight to stay alive becomes one woman's journey of courage and cunning in this horror series bridging 3 compelling films. The Watchers, releasing June 7th. The Watchers is being directed by Ishana Shyamalan, is written by her and A.M. Shine. It follows Mina, a 28-year-old artist, as she gets stranded in an extensive immaculate forest in Western Ireland. After finding shelter, she becomes trapped alongside 3 strangers, stalked by mysterious creatures each night. A Quiet Place Day 1, releasing June 28th. What led to science becoming the only path to survival? Well, we get an answer to that in A Quiet Place Day 1. A Quiet Place Day 1 is being directed by Michael Sarnowski, who wrote on the previous film, and written by Sarnowski along with John Krasinski, who of course directed and wrote the last 2 films, and of course we know him from The Office, and Brian Woods, who also worked on the last one and the recent film 65. Trap, releasing August 2nd. Trap is the new M. Night Shyamalan movie that is a psychological thriller set at a concert. It stars Josh Hartnett, who's playing a father who gets stuck at a concert with his daughter. It is, of course, being written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Talk to Me, August 8th. No details on this film as of yet. This will be a sequel to Talk to Me, where a group of teens use an embalmed hand as a conduit to allow themselves to be possessed. Speak No Evil, releasing August 9th. This will be an American remake of the 2022 film and will be written and directed by James Watkins, who worked on The Woman in Black, and produced by Blumhouse. In Speak No Evil, a family invited to spend a weekend in an idyllic country house go from a dream vacation to a psychological nightmare. Alien Romulus, releasing August 16th. Alien Romulus is directed by Fede Alvarez, who worked on the 2013 remake of Evil Dead and Don't Breathe. It's written by Alvarez and Rodolfo Ciegas, who worked on Don't Breathe in the 2022 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Young people from a distant world must face the most terrifying life form in the universe. Beetlejuice 2, releasing September 6th. This is a follow-up to the 1988 comedy Beetlejuice about a ghost who's recruited to help haunt a house. It's being directed by Tim Burton and was written by Alfred Goh, who worked on Wednesday, Smallville, and Spider-Man 2, Seth Grahame-Smith, who worked on Lego Batman Movie, and Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, and David Katzenberg, who is a producer for It, Child's Play of 2019, and wrote for the Hard Times of R.J. Berger. Saw 11, releasing September 27th. We aren't sure who is all involved with this project at this time. The previous writers, Josh Stolberg and Pete Goldfinger, will not be returning. We will definitely keep you updated as we learn more. In the last Saw 10, John Kramer travels to Mexico for a risky and experimental medical procedure, only to discover the entire operation is a scam to defraud the most vulnerable. Armed with a newfound purpose, the infamous serial killer used deranged and ingenious traps to turn the tables on the con artists. Smile 2, releasing October 18th. We have no details for this one either, but we do know it's being written and directed by Parker Finn, who directed the first film. In Smile, Dr. Rose Cotter starts experiencing frightening occurrences after witnessing a bizarre and traumatic incident involving a patient that she can't explain. As an overwhelming terror begins to take over her life, Rose must confront her troubling past in order to survive and escape her horrifying new reality. Wolfman, releasing October 25th. Wolfman is being directed by Leigh Whannell, but we have no other major details yet. The plot synopsis is about a man whose family is being terrorized by a lethal predator. Terrifier 3, releasing October 25th. It's being written and directed by Damien Leone, who is the creator of the franchise, and stars David Thornton, Lauren Lavera, and Elliot Fulham. Not too many details about this one yet, just that Damien plans to go back to the roots of the first Terrifier, and Arthur Clown will unleash chaos on the unsuspecting residents of Miles County as they peacefully drift off to sleep on Christmas Eve. Nosferatu, releasing December 25th. Written and directed by Robert Eggers, Nosferatu is a gothic tale of obsession between a haunted young woman in the 19th century Germany and the ancient Transylvanian vampire who stalks her, bringing untold horror with him. The next few films that we'll cover in this video at the time of this recording do not have a release date. Wtichboard. Wtichboard is being directed by Chuck Russell, who worked on Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Scorpion King, The Mask, and Paradise City. Written by Greg McKay, who worked on Night of the Demons, and Chuck Russell. All we know is that it's a reimagining of the 1986 film that was written and directed by Kevin Tenney. MaXXXine. Written and directed by Ty West, who worked on Pearl, X, and directed some episodes of the show Them. The film follows MaXXXine, who was the only survivor of the bloody incidents of X, as she continues her journey towards fame to be an actress in the 1980s Los Angeles. The Conjuring Last Rites. This film is being written by David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick, who wrote the previous two films, being produced by James Wan, and is being directed by Michael Chavez, who just recently came off The Nun 2. We don't have any plot details for this film at the moment, but we'll keep you updated on this as it develops. The Crow. The Crow is being directed by Rupert Sanders, who worked on Snow White and the Huntsman and Ghost in the Shell. It's being written by Zach Balin, who wrote for King Richard and Creed 3, Kevin Cornish, who wrote for Beyond a Reasonable Doubt, and Cliff Dorman, who wrote for Entourage. No details on this one yet either, but in the original, a man is resurrected by a crow and takes revenge on the gang that killed him and his fiancée. There you have it, the major horror films coming in 2024. Let me know down in the comments below what you're looking forward to the most, and if there's something that I missed, let me know down below as well. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like this video, join us on Patreon, listen to our podcast, and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all things horror. Until next time, peace.